Hello guys, Nigel here with you again with another sort of little update on this border model Stuka kit. This is one of the problems with not researching your subject before you do a review, I'm afraid, so I'm sorry about that. But basically, I've learnt a few things about this kit, about the Stuka, the G1 and G2, and about Rudel as well, which sounds like he wasn't a very nice character at all, really. So basically, yeah, I'm just going to do a revamp now. A few people said that they couldn't see the instructions very clearly, so I've done a scan of the instructions so you can all see them, and we'll go through them page by page and have a little chat about the features on each. So yeah, if you're interested in the kit and you're thinking about getting one, and then have a look. And if you want to correct me on anything, then please tell me I'm wrong. There are some options in the kit, but as I said, as you go through the instructions, it's not like for this version use this part. It's just you have these parts. There are 3 different canopy, or probably 9 different canopy combinations you can use, and there's only one you can put on the model, so you need to know which is which. It also looks like in the images in the back of the instructions where the painting diagrams are, it looks like it's sort of generic images they've used, because you've got the extra bar in the canopy, which I'll talk about, and also obviously you've got the bomb on there, which I've since found out the G models didn't have the bomb because they removed the dive brakes to fit the guns. So there we go. So this is the cover we're looking at now, and I think it's a beautiful cover. As I said in the review, it's got no writing on it, so you could frame it and have it on a wall. It is a lot of action going on in that photo. So there we go. Okay, here we are, the first page, and we can see on here the sprue callouts. We don't have the sort of doubled up clear and grey sprues like we had with the 109. If you remember, you've got grey and clear canopies, so we don't have that with this one. Although down in the bottom right you can see there, it looks like they were going to make that as one sprue, but in fact the sort of the leg sticking out at the top is clear, the leg on the left at the bottom is clear, but then the bit on the right is the H sprue, which is parts of the bomb slinging gear, I think, and all the actuators for the wings and everything. So obviously they didn't need to be clear, but it looks like they were going to make it as one sprue. On the right you can see the decal sheet, which is lovely. Very, very nice. I'm a little bit confused, if someone can help me. I'm looking around and I'm seeing images that show the G2 version with black writing and 490111 or something, but this kit has the white writing 494193, I think it is. But I've also seen versions of the real thing showing that number, so if somebody can help me whether this kit is correct or incorrect or whatever, whether it should be white or black, I don't know. So if you can let me know, I'd be grateful. I guess I need to get some research material, like a good book or something. But there we can see the sprues, and we've also got up there the lovely photo etch sheet. And as I say, with this kit we do have the harnesses, which we didn't have with the 109, and we also have the instrument panel detail down underneath the MD there on the decal sheet, and up in the top left hand corner we've got 4 109 instrument panels there. So if you do have a 109 kit not built, then there's the instrument panel there, so you've got it there. So that's the sprue call out page. Right, so the first part of the assembly, so obviously we're starting with the engine. All sort of pretty standard stuff, all looks very nice and crisp and cleanly moulded. If you haven't seen the review, go and have a look. The plastic is lovely and it's a pleasure to work with. So you can see it's all going together there, pretty sort of standard stuff really. Lovely bit of detail around the back end, around the supercharger and everything. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. The oil cooler underneath the engine, or the water radiator, whatever it may be, looks very, very nice. Or is that the intercooler? Looks like it might be the intercooler actually. But anyway, intercooler and radiator perhaps. But anyway, all very, very nice bit of detail going on the bulkhead, so, and all cleanly and sharply moulded as well. On to the next stage then, and we're fitting the engine and everything else into the cowling there, and fitting on the front plate and the exhausts. I wrongly said in my review that the if you look on the top left there, it says it's got A4 and A23, so that cowling on the the left side, the port side, or the port side, does actually it's split in half. It's 2 parts, so you can expose one side of the engine, or obviously if you wanted to you can cut the panelling around and expose the whole engine, or cut it all off and just have the engine extractor on its own with no cowling on at all. But basically the sky's the limit there. The detail on the engine is good enough to display. And then just to the right hand side there, we're starting on the cockpit with the pilot seat. We've got the armour plating there going on, and the headrests. We've got, as you can see, we've got the PE belts on going on the back cushion there, and then we've got the the armour there behind the pilot there with the radio gear, part C30 for the gunner in the back, or the radio man, gunman, whatever he may be. And then moving along, we're fitting along into the cockpit floor, and then down on the sides of the cockpit, looks like we've got some ammo bins there going in. So all very nice indeed. So now on to step 5 in the instructions, and you can see there it's telling us to drill some holes in the side of the fuselage halves. Those holes are already there, so unfortunately if you don't want to actually fit the armour plate into the side, you're going to have to fill those holes in, which will be simple enough. Just put a bit of plastic rod in there and then sand it flat afterwards, it'll be absolutely fine. And then we're fitting in the side panels into the cockpit, which are very beautifully detailed, and we've got lots of bits and pieces and greeblies going on there. And then we're actually going to fit the whole cockpit assembly into the side of the fuselage, and we've got the radios, a direction finder, whatever, in the back there going in, and then we've got the rudder going together. Looks like the rudder is going to be fixed, although it is separate, so you can actually pose it on a bit of an angle if you want. Although down at the bottom there you can see you've got part H2, which is the actuator. I'm guessing there's an actuator on both sides because we've got a number there in brackets, and we've also got a little clear tail light going on there, so that's a nice little touch. And we're bringing all the fuselage together. Okay, so here's the first part of stage 6. You can see next to stage 6 we've got a question mark, and it's optional. I believe this is the B1 version. I'm not 100% sure, but if you notice, it's telling you to cut that slot in the upper wing for that, whatever it is going on there, part H16, but there's no mention of drilling holes in the lower wing. Now the holes in the lower wing actually are already there, same as the fuselage size. It's telling us earlier on to draw holes. Well, we don't need to drill the holes, I think they're already there. So have a look on your kit when you get it, just in case they are flashed over by the time they go into production. But you can see there we've got some bits and pieces going on the wing. Now we've got shorter wing tips for the B1, sorry, the G1, not the B1, and you've got different ailerons and flaps and stuff going on the back of the wing there. So there are a few differences, so be careful. Okay, moving on to the second part of step 6. So this to me looks like the G2 option. You can see down there you've got parts B3, B12, 5 and 13, and they're the longer wing tips to give you the longer wings. You've also got the different ailerons on the back, they're longer, and then you've got on the previous page, if you want to go back, we were actually looking at A17 for the flaps, and here we've got G17, and then the inner flaps on the gull wing part are actually the same, they're G11, but it looks like a lot of the parts there are actually different, and as you can see there also it's telling us to drill the holes in the wing. Certainly on my example the holes are already there. Looks like the coolers and stuff, they've got all the mesh and everything on them is the same. So basically pretty much the same. The upper cover on the wing panel there as well, you can see part A22, that's different on this version from the last one. So so basically there we go. So that's the second option. It looks like that is the G2 version. Okay, so here we go with our options now, and I'm going to start by saying, guys, if I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments below, because I'm not an aficionado. I know nothing about the Stuka relatively, but I've just done a quick bit of a scout around on Google and stuff and had a look. Now if we look at the top left hand corner there, you can see we've got a choice of 3 main canopies for the pilot. Now obviously the upper one there has got the removable side or the side sliding windows. I don't think the G1 or G2 had those, so I think we can wipe that one out. Then you look down below, you've got on the outer, on the left and the right, you've got part F3 and F2. The only difference I can see on them is that the lower section on F2 is continuous all the way along its length, sorry, on F3, but if you look at F2, it sort of steps up, it steps down at the back. So they've removed some of the framework at the bottom, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So I'm guessing it's going to be one of those two, but other than that, they appear to be identical. Moving across then to the right, we've got the windscreen there with the armoured plate going in, part G1, and that's the same on both. Now if you look at F1 and F5, F1 on the left there has a thinner framing around the base of the windscreen, and it doesn't have that additional vertical link in the outer panel. Now the pictures I've seen, it looks like that is the one. F1 is the one you're going to use on the G1 or the G2. Even though, as I mentioned earlier, in the actual images at the end and on the side of the box, at the end of the instructions and on the side of the box, it shows them with that vertical piece there in the window framing, but it also shows it with the bomb fitted, and now we know that the G1 and G2 didn't actually have the bomb. Well, now I know. Moving down then, we've got the rear canopy part there for the gunner, radio man, and they're the same across both versions. We've got some detail and some framework going in there, which is all very nice. And then the beautiful machine gun assembly with all the little bit details on it and the photo etch gun sights and everything. All very nice indeed. That's going to look lovely with a coat of paint and some dry brushing. Now moving across here at number 8, you can see we've got options again. This is building up the elevators and the tailplanes, and you can see on there the option is to cut sections off of C42 and C49. Now if you look at the upper one, they're telling you to cut the outer 2 legs off, and then you slot those 2 inner legs into the rear of the tailplane, and that will give you a drooped elevator. So this is looking out the bottom of the tailplane, and you can see the actuators there, part H13, they go on and they will give you your drooped elevator. So I'm guessing that they would have drooped when it was stood on the ground. If you look down below, it's given the option to cut those 2 centre lugs off and leave the outer lugs on, and that gives you a straight and parallel elevator. And then you can add H12s, which are the different actuators that hold the elevator in that straight position. So there you go for that one. Okay, so moving on to step 9 now, we've got some final assembly going on. So we're fitting the instrument panel onto the rudder pedals there, and fitting all of that up into the coaming. We've got the gun sight going together there. This time we've got a clear part for the gun sight rather than the grey part. And you've got that part C4. I'm assuming that's like a rest against when he's using the gun sight. I'm not sure. And then that's going in, and then you've got the coaming going down onto the fuselage. You're fitting the gun into the rear glazing there. It's showing you in one part of the instructions, it's saying to fit the gun onto the fuselage, and then the next part is saying to fit the gun through the clear part. I assume you would put it through the clear part first, or perhaps stick the gun on while the glue's still soft, pull the clear part back over it. Nice also to see that Border Models has been listening to us, and basically they're moulding their clear parts with part of the fuselage attached. So you can see there you've got no work to do around the actual seam where the clear part joins the fuselage, because the part of the fuselage is moulded in with the clear part there, which is a nice touch. Adding on the tailplanes and the supports underneath, adding on the wings. They're saying the wings are optional parts there. I don't know about that. Don't think much good without wings, would it? And then we've got the nose there going on with the engine and everything, and then we're adding the prop, assembling the prop and adding that onto the front. So a lot going on in that step. A lot of the major build assembly is going to get you into your stages of starting to do some painting. Okay, so here we are over the page now, step 10. Obviously assembling the cannons, there's 2 of those to do. All looking very, very nice. You've got the cannons going inside the pods there. I'm assuming you could cut the pod open if you wanted to see the cannon inside there. Those parts sticking out the sides, E8 and E14, not exactly sure what they are. Maybe they're the ammo cartridges that go in, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments, please. You got the mountings going on, you've got the supports there being built up at the top. They're going into the top of that sort of pod, and then the hangers and all the framework going on. PE plates going between the wing and the hangers. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm sure somebody will know. It's probably armoured plating or something, is it? They didn't want to add to the plastic parts, because then they wouldn't be able to use those wings on a standard D version. Apparently the G was a modified D, so that's something to bear in mind. And it does look like that you could probably build a D from this kit if you wanted to, because it looks like it's all there. You've certainly got the bomb and all the carrier and everything, so if you wanted to build a D with this kit, you probably could. I'm not sure about your differences around the cockpit and stuff, but I doubt there's much been changed. And then going down there, you've got the undercarriage going together onto the wheels and tyres. Somebody mentioned that I should cut the spats off because the Rudel never had his Stukas with spats on, but the pictures I've seen, it's got them on, so I don't know what's going on there. And then we've got the tail wheel there. Worth remembering that all these tyres, although they're plastic, they're not horrible vinyl tyres, they are plastic. There's no writing on them, unfortunately, but maybe there wasn't on the real thing, but they are flat spotted, so that's all a nice touch. So step 11 there, more final assembly going on, basically adding in the undercarriage, some there's a little antenna or something going on the back, or is that step for the pilots to get up into, part H15. Pitot tube H19 going in the wing, be careful not to snap that one off, and you've got your tail wheel going on, and then your cannons and everything, as I say. So all very nice. Again, more final assembly stuff going on. And then the final part of the assembly here, to finish it all up, we're adding our clear parts, and you can see on the left there they've actually depicted the canopy with the straight bottom and the windscreen with the additional vertical bar going down. The central one is the central vertical bar, the vertical bar in the windscreen with the sliding windows, and then the one on the right is showing the non-vertical bar with the stepped lower canopy and with the armour plate being added. And I believe from my looking around that the one on the right, we'll call that C if they're ABC, is correct for the G1 and the G2. As I say, please let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong, and let everyone know. If you're an aficionado and you actually know, then please let us know. There we go. Alright, so on to the colour callouts, and you can see here we're depicting this as the 1943 Kursk Rudel Junkers 87 G1 without swastika. They're not showing the swastika in the pictures, you do get them on the decal sheet. So this is the G1 version. You can see it's got the shorter wingtips, but they have included the bomb. So just think of these pictures as being generic and don't use them for your reference material, as in you know, what colours and what windscreen you should use, because you can see on there they've got the additional vertical bar in the windscreen, and it looks like there's no armour plating on there either, whereas I think from looking at other pictures of other models, I think they shouldn't have that vertical bar, and it should have the armour plating. It definitely shouldn't have the bomb, and if it's a G1 it should have the shorter wingtips. So and basically the paint scheme 65, RLM 65, RLM 71, RLM 75, so you can choose your paints of choice rather than, you know, going by the ammo MIG colours they've got there. Alright, so over the page now, this is the 1944 Rudel Junkers 87 G2. But as you can see, again, generic picture, you've got the shorter wingtips, we haven't got the longer wingtips. We've still got the bomb, which we know we shouldn't have. We've got a lot more yellow on this version. And we've still got the RLM 65, RLM 71, RLM 75 schemes. So, as I say, use these for your generic camouflage patterns and the yellow bits and everything like that, and decal placement. But I would be a little bit more careful with the you know, with the detail, as in the windscreen and what canopy to use and this, that and the other. The other thing of note here, as I mentioned earlier, you can see on the top of the tail we've got the number there. I think it's 494193. That obviously comes in the decal sheet, but I've seen pictures of models built with black lettering there, say 494110 or something like that. So please let me know in the comments below which is correct for this actual aircraft, because this is the one I want to build. I want to build it as the G2 with all the yellow flashing and everything on it, and I want to get it right with the tail numbers and that. So please let me know. We'll have some fun masking that spinner and painting that spiral on as well. Okay, and here we've got a bit of advertising in the back of the manual. As you can see, it's slightly out of register on the printing, so I think that's a problem just with mine or just with a few. It's not going to be across the board. You can see here Border advertising their new line engraver sets. So obviously the Border do make quite a few tools as well. If you go and look at their website, they do make some tools, and apparently they're very nice. I don't have any, I haven't tried any. I've got scribers coming out of my ears, to be honest. So, but there we go, that's just a little bit of advertising they've got there. And then on the back of the manual we've got this lovely aerial view of the Stuka. That's going to be a G1 with the short wingtips. Border model BF002 Junkers 87 Stuka. That's what the kit is. www.bordermodel.com. That's where you can go and see it. So hope you've enjoyed this. This has just been, as I say, a little review of the model. The resin figure, I've been in touch with Border Model, and apparently the resin figure is going to be on the first batch. So he didn't say how many, he just said it's going to be available, it's going to be free in the box with the first batch. So if you want to get one of these early with the resin figure, then get yourself an order in now. It's available for pre-order at most shops here in the UK. It's obviously going to come in through Albion Hobbies, because they're the agents in the UK for border models. But I've noticed there are some popping up on eBay in China. So, if you want to have the wait until it comes, possibility of getting caught for customs and also paying the postage, then you can go down that route. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to be starting a build of it very soon, and look forward to having you all join me for that. So as I say, comments down below please around accuracy and notes about the build and everything. I'd be all gratefully accepted. So I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.